Congressman, thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure.
I can't help but notice the things that are behind us here, an incredible collection that you have. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. The brick there is a brick from Saddam's personal residence where he and his wife Sajida lived from Oja near Tikrit, Iraq. The Iraqi flags here belong to Uday and Qusay's graves, his sons. When they were brought to justice, they buried them, and now I've got their flags. And then I've got an array of my family. This is not Saddam, but everybody kind of sported the Saddam look. But he was actually one of his vice air marshals of the Air Force, and we captured him. He was on a wanted list, and I just thought it intriguing that he had a cutout of himself on his fireplace mantle, kind of like what we all have, a mantle of ourselves,
You don't. I have that in my office, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So now I did dress it up a little with some of the accoutrements that you see there, and then various things that I collected in my former life.
So did you catch a couple of guys off of the playing card deck?
We got a bunch of them. In fact, I detail all of that time during the Hunt and Capture Saddam in my memoir, We Got Him, which was published by Simon & Schuster. I commanded one of the units that was involved in the Hunt and Capture Saddam in Tikrit, Iraq in 2003 and 4.
That's on me. That's my research. We should have brought a book with us and talked about that. But the thing we wanted to talk to you about today is Waste Watch. Your 7th edition of it came out yesterday.
It did.
Let's talk a little bit about all of the waste you found. $300 billion total.
Over
so far?
$300 billion since we started the effort of the Waste Watches. We've decided to release them about every 3 or 4 months because that allows us then what we discover to actually insert into the legislative process, or if it's too late for that, the appropriation process. And we've had some success with it. Last year, working with Matt Cartwright, a Democrat out of Pennsylvania, we were able to eliminate over $4 billion worth of waste. But it's not 20 trillion. The only way you get there, though, is get there like we got in it. You just knock down a little bit at a time.
What originally inspired you to start Waste Watch?
Well, as you may or may not remember, Dr. Coburn, who was Oklahoma senator, he had his waste book that he would publish annually. When he left the United States Senate, one of the things that I wanted to do was to continue that type of effort, and that was his hope, is that every congressional office would be combating waste. And we were able to hire some of his key people onto my staff, and one of them was one of the waste book brain children, and so we were able to continue that legacy.
Oh, that's awesome. What is, talking about Oklahoma, what's the biggest piece of waste that you've seen in your home state?
It's no different than anywhere else. Waste Watch number 7, it goes into the aspects of waste and education. Look, we all want a good education for our children. We want research grants. We want innovation in science at our universities and institutions, so Alzheimer's can be cured, or cancer, or the things that we all care about. But do you really want a $1 million grant that's awarded for research to have 520,000 of it charged as an administrative fee? I mean, these are the types of things that we reveal in Waste Watch number 7. That's immoral, because if a charitable organization had a 52% overhead, they would be scandalized, and yet we have institutions and universities all across America, and that is the average, 52% administrative fee. This is a culture that we need to change, and this is the law that we need to change. Pell Grants, another example. We all think that they're a good idea, and it's great that people are. All right, but why should they charge an administrative fee to accept government money that they would normally not get? So we want to eliminate the fees. Look, you either want federal assistance or you don't. And if you want it with a charge back to the government to accept their money, how absurd. We're saying no, no more. We're tired of this.
So when I apply for the organizational grant to help a poor journalist named Tim Young,
if you get the grant,
80% administrative fees.
Yeah, exactly.
That was not good.
It's not good. Not good at all. I could go on and on. Studies that just defy the imagination. It's like, really? For example, the one that's getting a lot of attention right now is the Harvard study on asparagus and its correlation to urine smell. And so $1 million spent on this study, or $3 million, I can't remember but it was a lot of money to the average American. We figured it out. For every $1 million spent on stupid things like this, 96 Oklahomans have to work all year long to pay federal taxes so somebody can flush it down the toilet.
That actually corresponds with, I don't know if you remember, Whole Foods had asparagus water a few years ago. It was $7, and it was a bottle of water with 2 pieces of asparagus in it. So apparently asparagus, it's a very valuable vegetable in the world.
It is, but it's not worth millions of taxpayer dollars that we fund such absurd studies. And shame on the agencies for even accepting to do this. Isn't research. This is just absolute waste. If they had to work, for example, if the researchers and administrative staff and the institutions and universities that do these absurd research, if their personal taxes went to fund it, or better yet, their personal salaries would have to fund these, then what would they research?
Well, like when a research grant goes through, how many hands and how many eyes are on these things that allow this ridiculousness to get through? It's a lot, right?
Well, it is, and you have your layers of bureaucracy. That was one of the things that we tried to identify when Matt Cartwright and I authored the Megabyte Act, which has tied into all of the federal reforms on IT. It is now part of the scorecard. To give you an example, let's say we both work in the same agency and you're a department head and I'm a department head. You order a software for 6 people, but you have to order it in a suite of 10. I do the same thing. I have 6 people, I order it in a suite of 10. So we've ordered 20 licenses of software. We only needed 12. There's 8 left. And if a third department wants to order it, they can't use 6 of the 8 left over. They have to order it yet again. This was the absurdity that we said. So one just started by an inventory, requiring people to inventory their software licenses. And CBO scored it and estimated it would save $4 billion a year just sharing the leftover software and having efficiencies that way.
You mean you're asking the government to behave like a business would, like an actual business that has to make money?
Or how about behaving like a good steward of people's tax money?
Yeah, unbelievable. With all of the crazy things in mind, I wanted to play a game with you. And you're going to be good at this. I have a feeling you're going to know this.
We'll see.
It's called Waste or Fake. You tell me if it's an actual piece of government waste or a study of government waste.
I'll do my best.
All right. You're going to like this one. When you're drunk or fat, do you get hungrier when you smell delicious food? Waste or fake?
Oh, that's got to be real.
That is real. $400,935 to study that. It's critical, by the way. By the way, you do apparently when you're drunk, you like to eat more. The EPA Office of Noise Abatement and Control.
Well, I would say that's true because they've already tortured, at least on some of the noise abatement issues around airports, defense agencies, bases. I would say that's true.
Absolutely true. Oh, this is topical. This is very topical. Right. This is in Congress right now. A study of Russia's gay men.
Oh, that would absolutely have to be true. It's so absurd. It's got to have wasted some money.
$430,556.
That's nearly 50 Oklahomans that have to work
so that we can learn
to learn about a country that doesn't even border ours. Well, I guess it technically does on Alaska. You can see it from there, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. And here's the last one. This is this one, a study that studies the way that we study tobacco products.
I would have to say yes.
$2.5 million.
Oh, wow.
A study that studies the way that we study.
And they probably funded it out of the Tobacco Trust, which is why it wasted $2.5 million.
I can only imagine what the administrative fees are on that one.
Yeah, so I'm 5 for 5 on that, I guess.
5 for 5. Yeah. And they were all. We wanted to come up with crazy ideas, but the ideas that we were.
More crazy than what you could come up with.
You can't beat it. You absolutely can't beat it.
You absolutely can't. And look, how do you stop it? I think by exposing, doing what you're doing here with this program, letting people know where we absolutely get angry. And here's the problem. When folks like me go home and we go to our town halls or we meet with constituents in the community at different community events and things like that, we need to highlight how we're being good stewards of money. And if we're not, then the American public needs to ask, hey, what are you doing to help not waste money? By the way, the several bills that I got to President Obama's desk last year, all of them had a Democratic co-author, not co-sponsor, co-author, which shows you that it doesn't matter what party you are. We all agree that this stuff is just really bad and we shouldn't be doing it. So we can find those overlapping circles to work on these issues. And what it will take is the American public saying, we want to know how much waste have you cut as a member of Congress. Those are the questions we start asking. Because until we start treating it like real people's money, or better yet, treat it like our own, we're never going to solve this problem.
Where can our viewers go and find Waste Watch?
Well, they can go to russell.house.gov, and there all 7 editions will be available. As you go onto the site, you can navigate it and find the highlights to get to their PDF format, so it doesn't matter what system you have. We're trying to be efficient with IT, and then you can download that and you can look at it and just shake your head. The good news is we have several pieces of legislation this year already in the works. No Taxpayer Funding for Stadiums Act is an example where Earl Blumenauer from Oregon, now he and I will disagree on a million things, but on this one we agree that your tax dollars should not fund NFL or NBA stadiums. They have more than sufficient money as a business to help do that. And then if communities want to provide incentives to bring them in, do like we did in Oklahoma City. We did a bond issue. We did our own improvements project. We raised the money with the bond in 5 years and brought in the Oklahoma City Thunder Stadium, paid for it ourselves. We didn't turn to Nevada and say, you pay for our Oklahoma City Stadium, like Nevada is doing right now with the Raiders Stadium, wanting you to pay for it with your taxes. So this is the type of absurdities that we have to stop. And the more that we can encourage bipartisan effort and get more people out there to cut this waste, we have a great country with great opportunity, but we have to be very good stewards of it. And right now we're doing pathetic.
Well, this is off topic, a little bit off topic,
Sure.
But since you brought it up, what is your opinion on the NFL? They just lost their nonprofit status, but NFL teams, I believe, are still nonprofits, are they not?
I don't see how they can be. I mean, when a hot dog is $12, wow, I mean, that's some sophisticated pig snouts and hooves making that thing. $12 that you have to, or whatever it is, and then you've got all of the licensures and the paraphernalia and the goods. I'm all about business and making money, but leave it at that. Yeah. Don't take money that was intended for infrastructure, bridges, roads, and then turn it into stadiums. And they talk about the economic impact. Well, if that's the case, why are the Raiders moving from California to Nevada? Oh, I guess it didn't work out so well out there, and now they want to move. Well, there we go. And we've got a million of those stories that are out there. Nothing against sports, nothing against all of that, but I was a soldier most of my adult life. I've defended this great country. I've risked it. I nearly gave my life several times for this great country and had to do terrible things as an infantry soldier. I didn't think I was defending a urine study on asparagus smell as I was out there doing that. So we have to husband our dollars. Let's put them where they have the greatest impact and not do it on such absurdities.
Congressman, I could literally talk to you all day. I think that we could probably...
Well, let's do this again.
We should, and I feel like we could just joke around about insane things
Absolutely.
That the government wastes money on. Thank you for taking care of it.
Thank you for covering it and highlighting it.
Yeah, you're saving, well, you're not saving me money, but you're getting my money better spent.
We are that, and we're trying to get it where money can be saved, but we have a long way to go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Russell, for sitting down with us. And again, thank you for your service overseas. The guy is a hero. He's a hero there, and I think he's a hero here in Congress for pointing out the waste and abuse that the government has. I mean, guys, $300 billion. He's making sure that your hard-earned money doesn't go to hot garbage, which it really does go to a lot of hot garbage. Anyway, go to russell.house.gov to check out Waste Watch and learn more about his great work.